Okay, greetings everyone. So, it had come to my attention after episode 1. I did a little reading, and all 3 of these on each side, so 6 screws total, is actually what holds the TransTrem down. So, to save a little time, I went ahead and took 5 of them out, and we'll take this last one out, get the guitar out of the way, set this back down, and start tearing in and see what we find. So here we go. Last screw coming out. All right. And it's supposed to be able to just give this a little jiggle and it comes out. So let's see what happens. So we've got this little adjustment wheel down there for the back spring. So I just need to make sure that this kind of lifts up first to front and then out. And there we go. Just like so. So there's that. All right. So let me get the guitar out of the way. And we'll set this down and see what we can do with it. So get this up and over. Pull this over here. And we'll get to work. Let me find a safe place to put this guitar. Okay. So let's see. I'll probably need one of these towels to kind of wipe stuff off with. Let's get this here. Make sure we're in frame there. So right about there. Okay. So I think at this point, this is supposed to turn over, and this is already loosened up. So this is the spring that we're going to be trying to replace. And this just adjusts the return to 0 tension when you're in standard E tuning and you have it locked. When you take it out of lock position, if the trim moves either way, you can tighten this or loosen it to get it right back to 0 position. So that's what that spring is for there. Also, that's what provides the tension against the bar moving up and down. So we'll get that back all the way out, and I believe that I now need to get these screws out. And this whole top plate with the spring and this plate here, I believe, comes off. So let's get that going. Let's see. Okay, they're not super tight at all. So get these loosened up here. All right, so far, smooth sailing. Get these all the way out of here. And I think these will probably all be the same, but it's probably best to kind of line them up the way they came out, I guess. You never know. Yeah, they look the exact same, which would be expected. All right. I'm not sure how I'm going to get that spring out of there. That might be an off-camera thing, because I'm sure everybody doesn't want to hear me cursing trying to get that out of there, because I'm going to have to compress that somehow and get that out. So I don't know what we're going to do there, but let's take a look at the bearings here. So get these last couple screws out. That one came there. Yeah, I feel it releasing a little bit. That got a little tighter as far as the loosening aspect. I don't think there's any, shouldn't be any tension on that, I wouldn't think. But who knows, this might go flying across the room here. I hope not. I don't know, that's an awful lot of pressure that's on there, or it seems like. Yeah, maybe it's just, it's releasing something. All right, I'm gonna be super careful with this. I'm gonna kind of push down a little bit to hold that. Uh-oh, something went. There she's out. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. This is lifting up, and that spring is kind of holding on to things there. So maybe, just maybe, I can grab something and kind of get that spring out of there. Maybe a little screwdriver. Let's see. Okay. I think something is definitely going to fly across the room here. Look at there. Let's see if that'll come out. And there we go. There's the spring. I bet you that's going to be hell to get that back in there. But we'll see. Set that aside. Okay. All right. So the spring goes over here, lines up over that screw, and then the tension of that spring pushes against right here on this block. Okay. I was noticing this the other day. I don't know if that was purposefully shaved like that. I looked at my other TransTrem, and it has a little bit of a cutout like that, but not that severe. I looked at the picture of Eddie's, and Eddie's looked exactly like that. So I don't know if this is a weak point on these that kind of chips off, or if that's actually machined into that. I don't know, that's weird. I don't know, it works, so we'll set that aside. Okay, so this is where they say that you got to hold this together, kind of flip it back over, and you can see the pivot points there. So it says to do one side at a time. So we'll pull, let's set that against that, and we'll pull this side, and look at there. There's the bearing right there. So it looks like there is a little spacer washer down inside there, perhaps, that did not come out. So we're going to leave that right where it is. And we're going to take a look here at this bearing, and we're going to see I don't know if that is, see how that looks a little crooked there? I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, or if maybe that's some of the problem. See if I can get that out. Just pulls right out. No other spacer. Okay, yeah. That's got a little indent there. Let me clean that up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe we can focus here. It's not really wanting to focus very well on it, is it? But you can see this little divot right there, so that bearing does kind of sit in there and then cocked like that just a little bit and runs right against, obviously the other way around, but you can see how it sits down in there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, so this bearing, it does look like this is one of the older style. Oh yeah, I can feel that crunching around in there. So this should improve performance on this for sure. Yeah, that feels really, really grainy inside there. So, all right, so that's that one. Let me go ahead and get a new bearing here. There's our spring. Let's compare the sizes there. That actually looks a little bit shorter. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So maybe that'll go in a little better. I've heard that this spring is a bit stiffer. Oh yeah. Yep, this is a much stiffer spring. Which this trim felt much, much softer than my other trim. And I know that the other tremolo on the Steinberger had been rebuilt. And I know that it has this blue spring in it. So being this is a little stiffer, hopefully those will feel much more similar to each other now. Okay, so I'll set this aside there. All right, let's get this bearing. And we'll pop that right in. And you can see this is a different style. This is a sealed, lubricated and sealed, whereas this was not. So I believe that's the original bearing. I don't believe that's ever been replaced. So we've got that. And we'll get this pushed back in here. Just like so. And then we'll flip this around. So I can get this other one. There, it just pulls right out. It looks like there's another washer down in there. It's a little dirtier than the other side was. The other side looked really clean. So take the opportunity while I'm here, go ahead and wipe that down. And we'll see if we can't get some of that out of there. I guess I can go ahead and dump that out. There we go. There's actually two washers. There's two small washers put together. They said to make sure that they come out, or you put them back in the exact way that they came out. So let me just hold these together and get that cleaned off. Okay. So that'll drop right back down in there. All right. See if we can get this pulled out. Yep, just comes right out. Oh, there's another little washer right there. I don't know that that other side had that. Let me double check this bearing and make sure that there's nothing stuck to it. Let's see. Oh, look at there. Yep. Man, I'm glad I caught that. Is that another one that's on there? Okay, before I go any further, I'm going to stick this back in here. And I'm going to revisit this other side, because I do not want to mess this up. Okay, so let's take this back out. So that washer stayed there. Let's take this one. It looks like, let's flip that over. I don't think there's another one there. Nope. Okay. So that there. We'll get this washer on here. Did that go on there, or did I drop it? Nope, it's on there. Man, these little things are tiny. Okay, so now, we'll get that back in there and get this on here. Okay. Boy, sure I'm glad I saw that on that other one. Okay, let's get this one back out. Get this washer placed back in here. Okay. Get that out of there. Little tiny washer there. Okay, so that's our old one. Let's get this cleaned up a little bit. Get our new one here. Get our washer back on. Again, it looks like it just disappears, but it's dropping on there. Yeah, we're good to go. All right. Get this back in. Just slides right in. And we'll get this popped back on. Just like so. Well, that, I don't know, this just doesn't look quite right over here. But I guess it is. I don't see that can, I don't see that can really go any further. Interesting. All right. So there we go, that's back together. So now I can flip this back over. I can see about getting this plate put back on here. Let's see, that goes on that way. Just like so. And then that pulls back, and then we get the spring on there. Okay, so I think I probably need to get that screwed back down. We'll do the middle ones here. And I just want to make sure that I do this so that this goes on straight. Okay. One here. And these were not torqued down very tight when I unloosened them, so I'm just going to give them just a little snug. All right, so that actually looks like we are back together. That's interesting, the way that that pivots like it does. See, this side looks like it comes much further. Kind of pivots at an angle, looks like. That is super, super interesting. And you know, that may be why this has this little bit of extra there, so that that swings up and yep, that's probably exactly why that's done that way. I just keep learning more and more about this thing. Very, very interesting. I know that the non-wound strings need to pull further in order for them to change pitch. So we're seeing more and more of the genius design of this thing. How the way that this pivots allows this side to pull tighter than this side over here. I just continue to be amazed by this thing. So either that, or I've got it completely installed incorrectly and it's not supposed to do that, but I don't see any other way to put that back together. That pivots like that on purpose, for sure. You can really see it on this backside. Very, very interesting. All right, I'm going to see if I can even get this in here at all. I don't know that I'm going to be strong enough to get that in there. I might have to, like I say, I may have to do this off camera. I might rig up something to compress the middle here, something that I can take out, or I'll just keep fiddling with it until I get it in there. But I certainly don't want to sit here for 20 minutes trying to get this in on video. So I think that we're going to stop there. Next time I come back, hopefully this spring will be in. I'm going to clean this up a bit too. We'll get the jaws back in. We'll get it bolted back to the guitar. And we'll go through a final setup on it. I'm sure that I'll need to calibrate it once again after all this is finished up, but I think that is probably the internal workings that none of us have ever seen. Looks like this comes apart a little bit further with these Allen heads here. You can probably get access to the screws there, the fine-tuning screws. Yeah, looks like that comes off. Yeah, you can see the seam right there. That comes off this top piece. So all in all, it's a pretty simple design as far as physically, but the engineering that went into this thing, I am just amazed. So, all right, so that's all for now. We'll see everybody next time and see if we can't get this finished up. Thanks for watching. Click that thumbs up and give me a subscribe if you enjoyed this. You'll see more content of my EVH kind of gear, my tone, my guitars, my cool TransTrem stuff. So give me a sub. We'll catch you next time.